Hi guys, Zasmo here, and today I'm gonna be talking about how I juice my maps. This is a question that is constantly repeating. People are asking how I juice the maps, how I make the fractured map, how do you do this, what is this strategy that you're doing currently right now, and how can I get into this? So, first of all, the strategy that I'm going to describe is for running 100% Delirious maps. So you need a build that is very strong, preferably something that can take advantage of a headhunter or self-poison, some kind of a cheesy mechanic that will be able to abuse basically how strong the maps are and turn it to your advantage. So something like headhunter or self-poison, that type of a build. So you need a pretty good build. The cheapest thing you can do 100% Delirious maps with is probably going to be something like self-poison, BV, something like that. But you need a very strong build. You need a build that is able to run 100% Delirious maps, and then once that is a possibility for you, and you should basically progress from 20 to 40 to 60 to 80. Once you can run 80% and then 100% Delirious maps, then you know you can do this strategy. So what do you do with this strategy? First, you need a map base. So map base is going to be your map that you're gonna craft in a very specific way. It's pretty expensive to craft, but once you have it, then you basically use fractured fossils to copy this map over and over, and you simply run the mirrored copies of the map instead of running the main one, reducing the cost, because the base one is very expensive. So I'm gonna explain how do you make that map. First of all, you're gonna need a base. So for your chosen map, whatever you pick on the atlas, it can be Burial Chambers, it can be anything like in this region, Glenach Cairns, like Tower for example. It can be something in Haywark Hamlet, like Caldera, very good map as well. Or like in this region, Canyon, right? Canyon is very popular because it's a very simple, easy layout that takes advantage of the diplomatic escort and has a it's a very nice layout that has a lot of monsters in it and is just very quick to run in terms of like moving around the map and clearing everything, which is very important, especially with a self-curse headhunter build. So you first need to find a base for that. So you need to find a base, basically a map that is going to be influenced by the Elder. That's what you want to find, because this will add extra monsters to it, but you don't want the map to be to have the Guardian, right? So as you can see, these two maps could be very similar, right? Because they're both influenced by the Elder, but this one is occupied by the Constrictor, this one is not occupied by anyone. So when you're looking for this map, they are sold by Zana. Zana sells sometimes maps that are influenced by Shaper or by Elder, and they are various different maps depending on your Awakener level and whatever she randomly happens to have. And they cost like 25 CE 10 alks or something like that to buy from her, depending on the tier of the map. But you can buy them from other players, and what you want to look for in search is like your chosen map, the tier for the map, and then you want to type area is influenced by the Elder, but then you want to select no modifiers with area is occupied by the Constrictor, Eradicator, or the other two, right? So you want to make sure that it's not occupied by any of the Guardians, just influenced. Then once you have the map that is going to be your base, and it is Elder influenced map, then you want to make sure that you get on it the fractured mod that you want to be running. So that's going to be either Nemesis or Beyond. In my case, I chose Beyond because I personally want to get just more rewards of whatever Scarabs I put on it. I didn't want to necessarily run the Nemesis 3 strategy because you end up having to pick up so many little items that I decided I'm just gonna go for the big drops. And like today I dropped like a Cortex and Brothers stash from like Legion stuff. Like I had very big drops, like Inspired Learnings that go for like 2.5 or 3x. Like you drop a lot of big stuff. But you can also go for the Nemesis, in which case you want to make sure that you roll this mod on the map normally, right? So if I have this map, let me show you. Let's say this was my base that I wanted to run, right? Let's say I wanted to run Palace, because Palace has like a huge amount of monsters. What you want to do is make sure that you like just chaos spam it, right? Until you get on it, Nemesis, or until you get on it Beyond. If you get Nemesis, you're gonna need to also divine it until it gives you like 30% more rare monsters, or at least like 29% more rare monsters. And then you need to make sure that you have at least 3 prefixes on that map, or at least 5 affixes. That is because you are going to need to fracture this map in order for this Beyond mod or Nemesis mod to stay on the map forever, even persist throughout copying the map. As you can see, they all get this Beyond on it. you're gonna need to fracture that mod, which means you're gonna need to get a harvest craft or buy it from someone that either fractures 1 out of 3 prefixes or 1 out of 5 affixes, right? So you're gonna need to make sure that if you're using the 1 out of 3 prefixes, it's gonna be 1 in 3 chance, and you're gonna have to basically get a lucky hit on that, right? And you need to make sure that you have at least the 3 prefixes, and then beyond or nemesis is going to be one of them. It's 1 in 3, and if you do the 1 in 5, then it's obviously 1 in 5, right? You need to make sure that you have at least 5 affixes, so like 3 or 2 prefixes and then 3 or 2 suffixes, and then you get 1 in 5 chance. Personally, like the math was working out that 1 in 5 was actually cheaper to make, because the 1 in 3 was super expensive. People were selling it for like 3x, and you need like 3 tries, so that would be like 9x just to fracture the right mod on the map on average. Of course, you might get lucky or unlucky, but if you went with the 1 in 5, it's like 20C or something like that. So it was very, very cheap. After you get that mod fractured, what you need to do is get the quality of the map. As you can see, the quality of this map is 35%. So in order to do that, you need to put Hillock in intervention, and Hillock in intervention at rank 3 offers a bench that allows you to increase the quality of a map to 35%. So you put the quality of that map to 35%, and then you need a harvest craft that gives you does not consume sextant uses. And you need to do it in the right order. You need to do it as it says here on the map. First, you put the harvest craft does not consume sextant uses. That means you're going to be able to run your nemesis. That means you're going to be able to run like a legion, harbinger, beyond, hunted traitors. Whatever sextants you want to run, you're going to be able to run indefinitely, and you're never going to have to roll them again. And then you put delirium orbs of your choice. The best one are the Scarabs as well as the Breach. People say the Breach has a little bit of a higher value, however Scarabs come with the added benefit of not having to buy Scarabs from other people, because you can just simply sustain. Like I'm running my Scarabs that I'm gonna tell you in a moment and sustaining them perfectly well, so that is very, very comfy because you don't have to do the extra trades. So if you do that, you're gonna have a base that you're never gonna have to buy maps. You're never gonna have to like worry about maps. You're never gonna have to worry about delirium orbs. You're never gonna have to trade for them. Like trading for the delirium orbs is really, really annoying, and they're also very, very expensive. You're never gonna have to roll your sextants because you just roll them once and you're good forever. And you're gonna have a 35% quality map. Then the cost of the map is gonna be what it takes to fracture it. So fractured fossils are floating like between 1.7 to 2x. Let's say it's like 2x, and now you're gonna be thinking, okay, so I'm gonna be paying 2x every single map to run the map, right? So I need to put like multiple exalts into this base. I mean, you don't have to make the base, you can just copy it from someone for a fee, but if you want to run it a lot and want it like all in one place and not have to trade too much, you want to kind of make your own base, right? If you're going to be running for a long time. And so you're going to be like spending 2x every single map. And are you going to get back the returns? Yes, the answer is you're going to get way more than you're putting in. The returns that I'm getting from these maps on average are 5x net profit. Which means I'm getting like making like 3x profit every single map without counting any lucky drops, without counting anything like other than the Scarabs and base currencies that I'm dropping, and the splinters, because I drop like 200 splinters every map. So this is what you want to be doing, right? And the way I fracture these, it depends on your build, but for my build, I use corroded fossils and I use dense fossils together with fractured and the powerful chaotic resonator. You need the chaotic resonators, of course, because the base is rare, so you need to use it on a rare. The corroded one prevents elemental reflect, which my build cannot run, unless I would put a sextant, but it also prevents the monsters have a chance to avoid elemental ailments, which stops me from shocking, which stops me from triggering Herald of Thunder, which stops me from cursing with temp chains and reflecting it to myself. So avoid elemental ailments completely breaks the build. So you want to make sure that you're running corroded, unless you want to sell the failed bricked ones to someone, but they don't really sell well. And then I run dense because that means there is going to be no life and mana, like no regen maps. and there's not going to be like extra monster life on the maps as well as a byproduct of that. So that's what I do to copy these maps. The only annoying thing that can happen to these is that it rolls temp chains. Temp chains is very, very annoying because it overrides your temp chains, so you get like a much weaker effect temp chains on you, which kind of screws your build. You can still clear the maps, but they become a little bit more rippy at the end when you don't have a lot of monsters to steal the buffs from. So you might want to consider also doing like the 4-socket resonator and doing the not shuddering, serrated fossil, right? Because the temp chains is a caster modifier, it has a caster tag. However, you cannot completely remove the chance for having it. You can still roll it, just much less likely. But I think with the 3 ones, every now and then you're gonna get the temp chains and get unlucky. Like I rolled 3 maps in a row with temp chains and I still managed to clear them, and it was okay. So but you gotta be careful for that. So now that I have the map, right, I have the base and I have my copies, and I spend 2 exalts to copy this base. What do I run it with? I usually run it with Gilded Harbinger Scarab, because I'm gonna get also like the Watchstones. I didn't even get around getting the Watchstones yet, but I need to buy my Watchstones and roll them for like the Harby mods. That's why the Harbinger is gonna be even better in that region. Then I run Gilded Breach Scarab, then I run like whatever highest like Legion Scarab I have, and then I run Gilded Ambush Scarab as well, right? Those are the Scarabs that I personally run. The sextant mods that I have is Legion, Hunted Traders, Beyond, and Harbinger as well. So Harbingers drop additional currency shards, applies to all the Harbingers, so this is very, very good sextant mod to run. If you're going for the Nemesis strategy, then you're gonna have like the instead of Hunted Traders or instead of Legion or something, you're gonna have Nemesis monsters drop 3 additional currency items. You're gonna have less monsters in general in those maps, and you're not gonna be able to push like 14 or 15 rewards like I'm doing, but you're gonna have more currency to pick up in terms of like alterations and chaos and even raw exalts. They're gonna drop more often for you. But you're gonna have to pick up way more items if you're doing that, right? If you're picking up like fusings and chisels and whatever else you have enabled on your loot filter. So other than that, I am running my alpha missions and beyond. So beyond from the map device, so this is what I do. I just dump this, and I run beyond and alpha. Alpha missions are very, very easy to farm. You can simply go to Lex Ejoris and very, very quickly run maps with the time and time again. That gives you extra chance to grant alpha missions, and you can like run whatever missions, whatever maps you have that are very quick, like Waste Pool, like Beach. These maps are very, very quick, like Bog. Like these quick maps you can run very fast and get the alpha missions, so that you can run every single map with an extra alpha mission, with extra juice for that map. In terms of prophecies, I just run whatever I find. Like these, I have not bought a single prophecy this league, and I consistently run like Plague of Frogs. I run like the extra what are they called, extra strong boxes. I always have a Tempest prophecy enabled, so I always run with prophecies, and almost every map I proc some prophecy just randomly from whatever I find. You find a lot of prophecy doing Delirium, because every now and then you get like the bonus reward that you get as a prophecy, and you'll drop like suddenly like 7-8 of them, and then you're sorted for a while. So that's basically the juice that I'm running. That's basically what I'm doing. This content is extremely profitable, making a lot of currency right now, and I'm gonna like fund my next build, which is going to be, I think, the mana-based miner, the Akane build. But for now, this build is carrying me through these 100% Delirious maps and is doing very, very well. In the next video, I'm probably going to talk about this build and talk about like self-curse and how you can get started with doing this build, because as you can see in the footage from this video, it is absolutely ridiculous, and the maps are absolutely ridiculous. And keep in mind, I have like a super strict filter. I had to even make an extra filter that I called darkness, that basically hides everything so that I can clear them up and see where the monsters are, and then I can go later to the ultra strict and loot, and it takes like 4 or 5 full inventories. So every inventory is like 50 scarabs, so I'm dropping like 200 to 250 scarabs every single map. It's absolutely insane, and it's a big profit, so I definitely recommend doing that if you can get into it. Like, yes, it's too exalted per map, and if you're not used to doing like high investment mapping, you might think that this is insane and you would never make back the money. No, you every single map you make back the money. Like every single map I get like 5 exalts worth of stuff out of the map, and I have to come multiple times. It came to the point that I actually have 7 league step, so that when I come back with the first batch of inventory, I equip 7 league step, and then I go loot the map, because that makes me move faster and actually loot the map faster, because it takes like multiple minutes to like loot the entire map. It's absolutely crazy. So that's it. Hopefully this answers a lot of your questions about how to juice the maps. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.